as Asians, but do you have to expand the stories beyond the continent?
Well, I think growing up, like, I come from Singapore. I always hear people tell me like Asian people are not creative. You know, Asian people, they rather watch like Angmo content, right? Angmo is like orang putih, I think.
No, putih.
Oh no, orang merah. No, is it? Putih is.
It's rambut merah.
Okay, rambut merah, is it?
Usually Caucasian.
Okay, Caucasian. Sorry. Or like American content, UK content. So I think like it's quite nice that we keep World Ceremony like a very Singapore or at least a very Southeast Asian thing, because I think this is where we want to make our stand. Don't necessarily need to target like a Western audience, because like I feel like as content creators we should create content that we know and we care about. And the truth of the matter is like we care about this region a lot. And I wish, like we could, through our content, more Southeast Asian people like understand each other, understand like we have common struggles, and we can find a way to work together so they can make this region like a nice place to live. I have a lot of friends who always want to migrate to like Europe or Australia, but why not Southeast Asia, right? I believe like in the long term, if this generation like puts their heart at it, we can make this region like a place that is a nice place to live, to work, and to play. Okay, for you, Wei Chun.
I completely agree. I also think it's very important if you're an Asian person and you have an Asian perspective to communicate your perspective. I think what is different nowadays from maybe say 10 years ago, right, is that we have social media. Social media means that anybody with an internet connection and a mobile phone has potentially the power to reach millions of people. And with things like better infrastructure for remote work and stuff, right, actually a lot of this stuff travels well. You think about, for example, anime. I'm a big anime fan. And when you watch anime, are you turned off when you see somebody using for example, like in Japan, they have futons? Does that interrupt from the ori? Maybe it does a little bit, but then if you watch enough, you begin to appreciate Japanese culture. You appreciate, say, what a Japanese suburb looks like because you watch Doraemon or Crayon Shin-chan. So we feel like Asian culture is exportable and important and interesting. Not to fight with other places, but recently we've seen, for example, because we're in Singapore and we wear this Singapore branding a bit proudly on our book, right? Like for example, Crazy Rich Asians is set in Singapore. It's not entirely accurate, it's not inaccurate also. There are people that are really like that in Singapore, that crazy rich, right? But there's of course a more nuanced and in-between grey colour version of Singapore and Asia that I think is important for us as Asian storytellers to find a way to make relevant and interesting for the rest of the world. So I encourage y'all, if you are content creators as well, to lean into what makes you unique as Asians, because I think that is a part actually. That is a strong part about the stories that you have to tell. Yeah.